Hey, Russ with Bigwater Fishing here. You know, Dipsy Divers are a really good tool. I say in the summertime, but they work other times as well, but you generally require a little bit of speed. I know guys will fish them slower, but I would say 1.8 to 2.5 is kind of an ideal speed for them. And the Dipsy Diver itself, made by Lure Jensen here, is basically just a diving disc. This is lead in here, and it's gonna plane down. So then the business end, I'm using 30-pound P-line Endurex. It doesn't fade, the no fade braid, which is kind of really nice. Then I've got a good quality ball bearing swivel up there, and we're gonna go into the release. And you're gonna adjust this tension so that it pops free when you get a fish on, or you manually pop it when you get a fish on, which I like to fish them a little bit stiffer so that I actually have to pop them out. I don't want the fish to trip it. That way, if I have multiple fish on at a time, I can determine kind of what's going on and we don't have them all basket weaved together. But then this locks in like that, it's gonna plane down. And on the back, you'll notice right here that says 0, 1, 2, and 3. We got left and right. And so we adjust this weight so that this is gonna plane. So here's like a 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3. So kind of like, you know, basically underwater planer boards, we can run multiple lines per side, but also cover more distance as far as in the water column. And so you're gonna get away from the boat. A lot of days, a 3 setting is the only thing that can catch them when you're walleye fishing like I like to do. But then, you know, you can't get as deep. You have to allow out even more line. So sometimes those 0s, 1s, and 2s for the really deep fish are kind of the go-to. One little modification I like to make to this is I put a number 3 VMC dual lock on the back end there. Just basically put it on backwards. And that way I can take my leaders in and out and adjust them really fast. There's no monkey business, not a bunch of terminal tackle. And that way my leaders only have a little VMC roller swivel on them. And one thing that I would tell you that's gonna get you a lot more bites or restrict the number of bites you get is the leader length. So we got a little spoon on there right now. And spoons generally about a rod length, 6 to 8 feet in general. It seems to be kind of the deal because you get good action from it. You get too much longer and it also makes netting very difficult. A lot of people say the leader is about the length of the rod. The exception to that, I say, would be stick baits, because we're only gonna wanna use shallow diving things. So a flutter spoon like that, a shallow diving crankbait, or a crawler harness, you know, when you're walleye fishing like I'm doing, something that's shallow. This disc is going to be the diving device. But I can tell you from a lot of experience, especially in clean water or when walleyes are really finicky, the longer leader really makes a difference, to the point of almost crazy long. We use them as long as 15 feet, which makes netting and storing and everything an absolute disaster and a pain in the butt, but it catches you and hooks you into so many more fish that's what you want to do, especially with the crawler harnesses. 12 to 15 feet is not uncommon for us. And I would say, you know, with stick baits, 9 or 10 feet is very, very common. But a Dipsy Diver, use a little bit heavier rods because you're going to see there's a lot more pull to this, but not anything. You want something that's somewhat moderate. You don't want something that's really stiff. Black is my favorite. I don't like a lot of color and flash. Now, if you're fishing salmon or an off-colored water, you may want something down there that's going to give you a little bit of flash. But that's the setup for Dipsy Divers in the summertime and beyond a little bit, because I've got buddies that are using late spring or early fall and catch a whole lot of fish. Get deep quickly and easily.